Hi guys, I'm Ethan from OK Adventure. On this episode, I'm going to show you how to set up these bee buckets. Location wise, what I'm looking for, supplies, things to do, where to put them at. That'll all be in this episode. All right, before we talk about location, let's talk about swarms in general. Swarms naturally occur in the wild when there is a huge influx of resources, nectar and pollen, and also the hive expands to a good enough size that the queen can produce a queen cell and leave with a partial, usually around half or more of the bees. And so when we're talking about swarms and how to catch them, you gotta look at location as well, but also perfect time of the year when all those extra resources are coming in to the hives in the wild to allow them to start the swarming process. All right, let's go ahead and talk about time of the year. Most of you people watching are probably from other parts of the world or even other parts of the United States in general. So what I would recommend for timing of the year is not going to work for you guys because your swarms swarm off at different times. So a good rule of thumb to start your bee buckets and put them out are whenever the trees start to bloom, whenever they start to put on foliage. And a good time to take them down is when the foliage starts to fall off and turn colors and fall in the fall, which is here. So my season starts around beginning of April and ending in, I mean, you can almost push into November depending on our weather, but usually around October, September is the end of our season. With you, and that's in Oklahoma, with you guys, it could be anything. And some of you, I know some of you are from other parts of the world, so you probably don't have a spring and a fall. I'm not for sure where you're at, but that's a good rule of thumb. Put them up whenever the trees start to bloom, take them down, quit checking them whenever the foliage falls back. So in this little section, I'm going to show you how I find a place. I like to go on a maps. So what you're looking for is you're looking for big open, I like to follow the rivers. So right here we got the Canadian River and you can see all the woods back in here along this section. And these are pretty good expanses of woods. This is a 1 by 1 mile here, and 3/4 of that all right there is woods. Now on these areas, I like to look for road accessible so we can come in, drop a trap next to these woods, and then we can come back in a month and check these. I don't want to be hiking deep down into the mountains to be looking at my traps. And you can see there's a huge chunk of woods right here. There could be plenty of hives off in these trees. I don't like to look technically for like little spots like this. Yeah, there's some hives in here, but the problem with this is there's not a lot of colonies in here. And so you may be able to trap here 1 year, but the next year you might not catch any bees. But if I set up over here, there could be, there could be a good 5, 10, 15 colonies back in here, depending on the resources around, that these hives could, we could trap here for years and not trap the bees out of this area. I don't look for wide open areas like this. You might find some really good trees that have bees in here, and you could probably have success. But again, this area is not completely full of tons of hives. Back in here along this river, it's just a lot better along the rivers and creeks, especially in Oklahoma. As you can see, every river and creek, you can't technically cut all the trees down because you create erosion and washing. And so good places. Here's another good spot right there. Big open expanse of wood lines. And I'll show you on the ground what we're looking for, but what you want to do is you want to go through here and you want to pin these areas, and you want to get out and venture down there to these spots in your vehicle and look for a good place, look for the trees, look for stuff where you want to put these traps at. All right, first thing you're going to need is you're going to need to have some pliers. They need to have a cutting section so you can cut your tie wire. You're going to need some tie wire as well. You're also going to need to build yourself a bee bucket. These, I have another video I can link over here for you to go and see the video on how to build these. I'll most likely eventually redo this video because this is a really old video and has a lot of boring spots and stuff, but right now this video is over here. It's really simple if you haven't seen that video already. Now that we've done supplies, let's get to putting one of these up. This is the first trap we're setting up. It's the bottom hole trap. Again, I just like to hang these, what I've been doing, and just running one piece of wire around it to hold it to whatever you're hanging it on. God, it's gorgeous in there, babe. Look at that, babe. So you take your one string of wire. Well, I don't know. Rub it. Just wrap it around the midstream of it. The midpoint. Tie it on. That's it. Trap set.
That was
now
easy.
all we got to do is bait it. Again, I'm not in any way getting paid to show this or anything, but this is Swarm Commander. This is what I use. They have multiple different products. So all I do is I take this and I spray it in here. 2 sprays inside, 1 spray on the front of it. Done. Move on to the next spot. We're going to spray. Spray the front of it, like always. This is going to be the ground one. For stability. Okay. So what we did is we double tied this. Tied it once around the top portion of it and once around the bottom portion of it. Hold it in place. And this is the one with the hole at the front entrance. Just sitting on the ground right here, back in this old stuff. So we're gonna set this one with the bottom hole entrance right here on this T-post. Works really great for these. What we're gonna do, put the handle over it, put it in position, and we wrap some tie wire around the base of it. We didn't set this one. Step 1, which we forgot on this one, is to spray the trap. 1 on the lid, 1 inside, 1 on the foot of it. Done. Lid on tight. Alright. Here you go. Bee bucket set. It ain't going anywhere. Again, it's solid. I don't like to put them on this side of the fence because of the livestock that would rip this thing off and run off with it. Number 4 set. Let's move on. At the first buckets you seen that was prepped for swarm trap are the buckets I had collected going to look for the spots after I'd pinned them on maps. These buckets we found when we went back to set those, to put those bee buckets into the woods. And I mean, this is a pretty good haul. These are free buckets. I didn't do anything but pick these up off the ground. And now I will clean these, buy lids from, paint them, and sit these out now. What we got here? We got 3, 7, 8, 9. So we got 9 buckets in total. These are little, these are half gallon or gallon buckets. We'll try. We'll see if we can catch swarms in these guys. If not, I mean, maybe we can put them together and catch a swarm. Who knows? I'll find something to do with these buckets. I also have some 2-gallon buckets I want to put out in the woods. Just experimenting, just to see what you can catch a swarm of bees in. That's it for part 2 of the Swarm Trap series. If you're looking for part 1, go ahead and click up here. Part 3 will be available down here. Go ahead and subscribe right here for more beekeeping videos. Get out there and start an adventure.